Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, also known as the world's foremost QAnon promoting expert or something. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I was quoted in a New York Times article. For those who watch Basis Conspiracies or follow me on social media, you are probably already aware of this, but we're going to talk about it a little bit anyway, just because I feel like I should probably, correct the... I mean, technically he quoted me accurately, but the way he described it and without the context, it's kind of a dick move, Will Sommer, not going to lie. But hey, good to hear you're watching the show. Appreciate the metrics and the views. There is, I am a QAnon co-founder, Spetzel, that is correct. We have a Doge reversal potentially. We'll talk about that today. That's interesting. Trump is pardoning a turkey this morning. Got some stock stuff. Ukraine reportedly agreed to the peace deal. I'm not sure which version of that peace deal, though. Trump launched a Genesis mission. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, are we like going to another planet or the moon again or something? But no, it was just to accelerate AI. Talk about that. There is something interesting having to do with the Sedition 6. We'll talk about that. Otherwise, there's really not like a whole bunch to discuss today, but yeah, we'll get to it. How are you guys doing in the chat? It's Thanksgiving week. It's always a fun time. My brother's in town from Minnesota. They got in yesterday, so we went and hung out with them for a little bit. They're going to be here for a while. It's snowing too, by the way. Lots of snow on the ground. I think one could argue this is a snowstorm. It's not very windy, but I don't know. We got like 4 to 5 inches. 2 to 5 inches. I have no idea how many inches. I haven't actually went outside, but John wrote Q. Yes, that is the implications of what's happening here. Richard wrote, John, you're Q adjacent. Never followed Q when your Devolution series article started. Yeah, I had the NPR last week called me Q adjacent, but then this week in the New York Times yesterday, I am a Q promoter. So it's pretty good stuff, man. The world's foremost Q promoter. That's what I'm dubbing myself. Let's get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll get to it. First up, we got some Goldco. You wouldn't want to buy fire insurance when your house is already on fire, right? So why wait to help protect your... Sorry. Oh my gosh, I lost my spot. So why wait to help protect your money? I'm sure you're aware, but things are looking pretty dicey out there with the economy, global tensions, domestic tensions, AI, you name it. Are you surprised that gold just hit another record high? The price of silver is surging. Are people finally waking up to reality? This is why I partner with the award-winning company Goldco. They can help you safeguard your savings with precious metals, and they make the process incredibly easy. So if you're ready to help protect everything you've worked hard for, go to badlandsgold.com. You'll get a Goldco's free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you could qualify for up to 10% in free bonus silver. It's the best offer out there, hands down. Visit badlandsgold.com or click on the link in the video description. One more time, that's badlandsgold.com. And a reminder, you can roll a 401k or retirement account, not financial advice, into physical gold and silver through Badlands Gold. So check it out. We also got the Badlands shop, and I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to quick plug it. badlandsmedia.tv/shop. You can get, pretty much anything for Christmas. With the holidays coming up, now's the time to do it. We make shopping for America First businesses and supporting Badlands a very easy process. You're not just buying a product, you're fueling a movement with every dollar spent. And while you're there, you can sign up to receive Badlands Media's America First Holiday Shopping Guide. It's filled with gift ideas for everyone on your list, from thoughtful hostess gifts and cozy stocking stuffers to splurges worth saving for. The guide can be emailed to you on Wednesday, November 26, 2025. So thank you for supporting those America First businesses. Spetzel says gold is at $4,180 and silver is at $50.94. Bay Arthur's Dick. How about the UK conducting another pandemic exercise? Exercise Pegasus around a virus originating from pigs affecting children. You're gonna fall for that shit again. That's the thing. They can do all whatever they want. It's whether or not we fall for it. Jess Coke, for years you claimed you never read the Q posts. How are we to believe anything you say now? Also, will we get Q checks from your trillions? So here's the thing. I haven't read the Q drops, but that doesn't mean I can't be the world's foremost Q promoter. So you can still believe everything I say. And no, you will not get Q checks from my trillions, unfortunately. It's at least 4 inches. That's what she said. Nice. Thank you, Cece. Wonder how long it's going to snow. We'll see. But yeah, we'll start with let's start with Doge quick, and then we'll get to the horrible misquoting by the New York Times. There is no update on the Doge website, so that's not the news. But the news is yesterday we talked about how Doge was supposedly shutting down, according to a Reuters article. Doge doesn't exist with 8 months left on its charter. They have said on Twitter, and everything is real on Twitter, so you know this is legit. As usual, this is fake news from Reuters. President Trump was given a mandate by the American people to modernize the federal government and reduce waste, fraud, and abuse. Just last week, Doge terminated 78 wasteful contracts and saved taxpayers $335 million. We'll be back in a few days with our regularly scheduled Friday update. And I commented on there that you can't really call it regularly scheduled when you've missed 7 Fridays in a row, but you do you. Some comments to that were, well, I mean, obviously that was in line with the shutdown. But for those who've been watching this show regularly, I check on this every morning. First thing I do, not every morning, every day to start the show. This is the first thing I talk about. They do not and did not, even before the shutdown, update this regularly on Fridays. The last 5 months, we've had 3 updates. So for those saying that, you can politely suck it. Keith O'Higgins, I forgot to read your rant yesterday, but I can read your rant. He commented after the stream. He's like, when are you going to read? Oh, dang it. Did I just lose it? Oh, no, I still got it. But after the show, when it was over, I forgot to read his rant. And he's like, you're going to not read the rants tonight? What the heck? Something like that, paraphrasing. Then I went and looked, and it was a $1 rant. And it said, it's an incomplete portrait of Doge without big balls in the picture. We were all focused on the dingleberries. I mean, it's a hilarious comment. So I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Keith. And then he just said, John, you will always be called worse by better people. You could be called a Q dingleberry or worse, a Q cuck. You could just call it a cuck with the Q instead of the C. That'd probably work. But yeah, so we'll see what actually happens here. I don't know if Doge is shutting down. Yesterday I made a joke of it because, it's going to be sad. Because what am I going to start the show with every day or every week? Every episode, whatever. If it stays, it stays. If it gets shut down, I don't know. They haven't been showing us big savings anyway. We haven't gotten a Doge refund check. The impacts of what Doge is doing have yet to be felt. And so it's hard for me to celebrate it one way or the other. You know what I mean? So if I'm being totally honest, I really, really don't care all that much. Spetzel, kickers are people too. Jon Herold, I like that. 10 Gal Now says supposedly Doge is now incorporated into other agencies. That's what people are saying. That's what they're saying, but I don't know if that's true. They can just keep saying that. Q gave Badlands a colonoscopy, pretty much. Well, let's talk about this article. So, New York Times opinion guest essay: Why the Epstein story is so awkward for QAnon. And it's Will Sommer. This guy, he's like, if we're being totally honest, Will Sommer has put forth more Q content than arguably anybody. He's constantly writing and talking about Q. Certainly more than me. So it's just funny that he's calls me a Q promoter. He promotes it more than anybody. And I'm just going to read the first couple paragraphs to my part. The past few weeks of Epstein revelations, with more expected, should the government's trove of files open to the public, should be a dream for QAnon believers. And for a few of them, it is. Vincent Fusca, a man whose scruffy good looks and ever-present fedora have led some QAnon supporters to believe he is John F. Kennedy, not in fact dead and in disguise, texted me that, of course, the latest batch of Epstein emails proved QAnon right. You're finally getting it, Mr. Fusca wrote happily. Huh. He texted Will Sommer? Will Sommer, as far as I know, didn't even reach out to me for comment. He did a while ago when, Badlands Media is in the middle of that lawsuit right now, or I'm in the middle of that lawsuit. When the plaintiff of that case put forth her first video, or second video, I guess technically, the one in September, he had reached out for comment about it. And I said, yeah, I'll get you a comment later. And then I ended up, and this is Twitter DMs, and then I ended up just posting a statement on Twitter. Like, this is like a week and a half after that video. And he messaged me again. I was like, oh, I see your comment there or something. And then I never responded, and I haven't responded to him since. So maybe he did message me, but I didn't see it. Anyway, weird. What was harder to explain for many believers was why Mr. Trump spent so long resisting the release of the key evidence that would confirm what they suspected was happening all along. Celebrants like Mr. Fusco are outliers. Much of QAnon's response to Washington's Epstein excitement has been strangely muted, even dismayed. But with revelations about Mr. Trump's relationship to Mr. Epstein mounting, the default QAnon position has become that Mr. Epstein just isn't that interesting anymore. That's partly because QAnon believers no longer stand out so brightly in the conspiracy-minded Republican mainstream, and because Congress' mostly sober, evidence-based Epstein investigation bears little relation to the grand fantasies of elite exposure that QAnon dreamed up at its height. But for QAnon, the real problem with the Epstein revelations is that Mr. Trump sits uncomfortably close to the center of them. A day after the House passed a bill in order to order the Justice Department to release its Epstein files, Jon Herold, a QAnon promoter who broadcast under the name Patel Patriots, seemed disappointed that more of Mr. Epstein's crimes might be revealed. All the awful things that people are saying, I hope it's not true, Mr. Herold said. I don't want to see any of it. So, I mean, there's so many things wrong with this already. One, you guys know my stance on the Epstein files. I've never bought into the hype or the lore. I was never on this rug. And so it's not like he almost makes it seem like I'm moving the goalposts here, but I feel like my goalposts on this have been firmly affixed. But the way he quoted this here almost makes it sound like I don't want to see the crimes come out. Like I don't want to see his crimes come out. Like almost I'm covering for Epstein, but I want to show you the clip of what I actually said and the context of it. And I stand by everything I said here. Guys, maybe we will get all the awful things that everybody wants to be in here for. So, like, isn't that weird? Like, everybody's like, we know this is in there. We want all these awful things that these elites have done to kids to be shown to us so that we can tell everybody that we were right at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Like, that's a weird thing to want, number one. Like, I hope this is a nothing burger. I believe it to be nothing burger, and I hope it's that way because I don't want that shit to be true. I know that pedophilia exists. I know that trafficking exists, and Trump is working his ass off to stop that stuff. But when it comes to this, all the awful things that people are saying, I hope it's not true. I don't want to see any of it. Well, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I stand by that. I do sincerely hope that all the awful things that we've been told they were doing to kids is not true. But it was weirdly like taken out of context in this New York Times. Not surprisingly, Will Sommer's a douchebag. You can quote me on that one, Will Sommer, if you're watching. But yeah, but either way, I'm going to fully accept the title of world's foremost, greatest QAnon promoter, QAnon adjacent promoter, whatever that even means. So moving forward, I think all decodes need to be run by me first, and I can approve or disprove. I am now the official interpreter of all things Q. I think that's how that works too. I'm trying to think what other bennies come with this title, this promotion that I got. Some exciting stuff though. Mostly though, it's weird. Like I've never been. Yeah, there are Q people on the show, but I've never read the drops. I wrote one article about how it makes logical sense to think that the Q drops came from the Trump administration. I think it was a good thing, a white hat thing, whatever. But now two weeks in a row, an article from what would be considered a mainstream publication dubbing me some form of Q thing and then or tying me to Q and then putting a quote of mine in there. It's just weird. And who knows why, but I don't know. Very weird. Richard Ward, John, is this a show where you're whining about a regular member in the chat calling you black pillar without evidence? Haha, curious. John can go either way. I haven't got there yet. Oh, are you talking about that show on the DPH? I don't think so. I don't think that was that show. It could have been. Happens often. But yeah, literally, like there are people who have made their entire lives centered around Q drops and Q posting and decoding and all that stuff. And I don't know if I've ever posted a Q drop. Benny's John, you may be called the bearded Benny Johnson. No, like Benny's, like the benefits. It's a Michael Scott thing. I don't know. Anyway, interesting stuff. So there's that. What else do we got? Oh, we should probably go through the Emerald Robinson Twitter because she put out a story. And by the way, this is the dumbest. It's not a thread. Like she has one post at a time, numbers them. It works, I suppose, but she has a story here allegedly about how they stopped the steal in the 2024 election fraud. And we're going to read through it and I'll comment as we go. We'll see what happens. Oh, I forgot to play this. Because I'm now the world's foremost Q promoter, Phil Scarborough, who made the intro to my Devolution Power Hour video, like made the intro video, he made me a new intro piece that I'm going to start using, or should start using probably, because this is who I am now. But check this out. So good. So good. Thank you, Phil, for that. All right. Okay, let's start going through. It's time to tell you the story about how the 2024 election fraud was stopped. Does that mean there was absolutely no fraud in 2024? Like, what does that even mean? We'll find out. A few weeks before the 2024 election, Senator Mullen, Mark Wayne Mullen, and former Senator David Perdue finally arranged a meeting between Trump advisor Susie Wiles and the one man who could explain exactly how America's election systems are rigged. The meeting took place at Mar-a-Lago. It's just a few weeks before the election. She doesn't say who the guy is, but apparently they were able to arrange a meeting between this one guy and Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles had publicly said that election fraud was not real and that people who thought so were crazy. After the briefing, she didn't know what to think. She asked for a piece of cake. She ate it slowly, and she made the decision Trump's team should be briefed too. Like weird already. Susie, in the end, the man stayed at Mar-a-Lago for 3 days to brief everyone. There was only man who Wiles trusted to confirm it all. There was only missing a word there, I feel like. Elon Musk. A call was made. The man found himself in a room with Musk. Musk declined to sit through a full briefing. Just give me your data. Well, I got a response there. Okay. So this story involves Elon Musk, and she allegedly asked him for comment, and I don't think he gave it. And as far as I've seen so far, I haven't seen him comment on it. So I don't know. Anyway, brings Musk in. Musk asked for the data. Elon Musk read the AI summary of the technical data. Then he picked up his phone and made a call. We have a problem. It's true. Then Musk got on a plane to host a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. It was October 17th, 2024. Musk got on stage and attacked Dominion. Elon Musk said at the rally, there's always the question of Dominion voting machines. It's weird that they're used in Philadelphia and Maricopa County, but not in a lot of other places. Doesn't that seem like a heck of a coincidence? Musk was warning us the system was rigged. And the implication here is that it was Dominion voting systems, of course. Patrick Byrne, Emerald is breaking the story at last. Why wait on the story too? Like, I don't get that. Is it because of legal reasons, like them suing everybody? I mean, I understand not wanting to get sued. But I don't know. I mean, I know Dominion voting machines changed hands, but so far I haven't seen really anything that's like super damning towards Dominion. Anyway, we'll just keep going. How could the 2024 steal be stopped a few weeks before the election? The man who briefed Musk had a team, Patrick Byrne and Gary Bernstein. This team had recruited a dozen people who knew how the rigged system was built in Venezuela. They had worked for Smartmatic and Maduro. The group of whistleblowers were hiding in a hotel in Gstaad, Switzerland before the 2024 election. That's where General Flynn flew to see them. Flynn asked, how long has election fraud been going on? They said Venezuela now rigs it in 72 countries for the last 20 years. The whistleblowers from Venezuela had video meetings with Musk's team and Trump's team to explain the technical details of the election fraud. The most important detail, the Dominion IP addresses had been located. All it cost was $15 in Bitcoin from an anonymous Japanese account. The relevant data and IP addresses were now verified. That's when Senator Mullen came to the rescue again. A cybersecurity team got the data. 3 days before the 2024 election, the Dominion office in Serbia was hit. Their computers were useless. On election day, nobody knew if the cybersecurity team had been successful knocking out the Serbian computers. That seems weird too. Like, if you're running an op on a computer, you can't tell if you knocked out the other person's computer with the op. Everybody at Mar-a-Lago had to wait for the results without certainty. The man who had briefed Musk flew to Oslo that day. His team would flee the USA if they failed. Imagine the moment on election day. Trump had no idea if he would win. So Patrick Byrne watched results from Qatar. Gary Bernstein watched from Switzerland. All of them would be hunted down if the 2024 election fraud was successful, and the USA would be finished. Richard Ward, John, Laura Logan had these guys on her last show, bro. Yeah, I haven't watched that yet. A lot of these people are raising money that disappears. I'm just saying. RT Joan, are you saying Susie Wiles is a fur trader? I think I'm missing some context. John is lawsuited Jason. I'm lawsuit direct right now. But thank you, Maggie. Byrne was on with Alpha and Josh. Yeah, we've had him on the show before. Not Daily Herald, but it's been on Badlands, been on our election day stuff. Oh, let's keep going here. Trump was upset with his own staff after Elon Musk verified the fraud was real. He had been gaslit for 4 years by his team to drop the topic. In fact, his staff hired a Cuban intelligence asset in 2020 to investigate the fraud, to lie to Trump that our elections were fair. So, let me read this next one, then I'll comment. But that's the thing about Trump. He always hired the wrong people. His own advisors had tried to keep Trump from meeting with the team that saved the 2024 election. People like Boris Epstein, I'm assuming that's him, yep. Chris LaSavita had blocked the truth at every turn. You know, it's so weird to me how everybody just thinks Trump is stupid. Trump's an idiot. There's an entire group of influencers on Twitter that are constantly like, Trump needs to do this and Trump needs to do that. And, if Trump doesn't do this, then the midterms are lost forever. And if Trump doesn't do this, then he's going to get impeached. And it's over and over again. It's the armchair quarterbacking of online influence. It's so stupid. None of these people know what Trump knows, including myself. And I'm not afraid to criticize Trump at all. But I'm never going to assume that I know better than him. That's for sure. But everybody needs to do that. But they always assume that he hires the wrong people, as if he doesn't know any better. And if he's honestly hiring the wrong people, I would argue that he's doing it for a reason we don't know. Or maybe they're not actually the wrong people. There's so much that we don't know. And so to armchair quarterback. But actually, I had a post on this yesterday. We'll come back to remind me. I'll keep going with this thread, but remind me to come back to talking about this topic, the people that Trump needs to do this. Because I had a Twitter post, there's a pattern I've recognized. We've been trained as the world's leading Q promoter guy or whatever. I've been expertly trained to recognize patterns as part of my training to become the Q leading adjacent promoter or whatever. And I've recognized a pattern that I will share with you guys. Anyway, she explains why she's posting one tweet at a time so that X cannot hide or deboost the entire thread. Her sources are the team that saved the 2024 election. Her proof is Venezuela is now surrounded by American warships. I'm sorry, guy. And I'm not trying to dog on Emerald Robinson here. Like, I don't follow a ton of her work. There's just something off with this. Like, just because Venezuela is now surrounded by American warships, that does not by any means prove this story you're telling is true. That does not prove. Maybe we have a different definition of proof. And in terms of sources, like I would appreciate seeing some names with Trump in there now. Like you said, if Trump lost and they got away with the steal, then these people would be hunted down. But Trump won, so they shouldn't be hunted down anymore. That threat should be taken away, correct? So why can't we like get the names and get these people on paper? And I don't know. There's too much surrounding this specific story from this group of people that I'm getting weird vibes from. And I could be wrong for that. Like, I don't know why. I'm just telling you, I'm getting weird vibes. And this is a guy who thinks our entire election system is fraudulent and can't be trusted. So keep that in mind. I just don't know what it is. My Q promoting senses are Spidey senses. They're like Spidey senses, but they're Q senses. I don't know. They're going off. I don't know why. But anyway, let's keep going through this. Number 14, let's call the team that saved the 2020 election the Three Musketeers. That's the man who briefed Musk and Gary Bernstein and Patrick Byrne. I've now interviewed them many times, along with Smartmatic whistleblowers from Venezuela, confirmed key facts with the ODNI. Here's where the story gets really wild. The Musketeers were also the ones who warned Trump about election fraud after the 2020 election. Where do you think Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani got their information about Smartmatic? Judge Jeannie got them connected. That is interesting. That was that meeting, where there's that executive order, the draft executive order from December 16th of 2020, where Trump, he's going to potentially name Sidney Powell as like the special prosecutor. They were going to have the military interdict in our elections, get a couple machines, go through the code and all these things. But he never signed that executive order. I think it's because he instead allowed them to continue through and put devolution in place instead. But doesn't mean something similar wasn't signed. Who knows? Trump knows our elections are fake. There's just something, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something weird about this story. Here's, I already read that. So Trump had a good intel about the fraud 2 days after the 2020 election, but then Trump called in Kushner to gather a legal team to handle it all. Kushner's team was briefed next day, but they dismissed the intel and did nothing. Rudy and Sidney were hung out to dry with no help. Another one of those anti-Kushner pieces. That seems notable. Let's return to 2024. Trump has won. It's Christmas. The whistleblowers from Venezuela are moved from Gustad to Bahamas on tourist visas to protect them. They're being hunted by the cartel. They need to get into the USA to testify to bring down the rigged voting machines. It's February 2025. Time is now up. With their visas expired, the whistleblowers would be sent back to Venezuela and killed. So Patrick Byrne got a catamaran out of Florida and sailed in the worst storm possible to the Bahamas in order to smuggle them all illegally into the USA. This would make a great movie. I hope somebody makes one. So that's where we're at. Is she like just making this up as she goes? Like this is over the past, like, she started this thread almost 24 hours ago. Then why is it taking so long to get the whole story out? Benny Johnson confirmed her story. Not sure about warship parts. He confirmed the steal last night. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that because, like, we've been talking about the elections being fraudulent forever. For whatever reason, they allowed Trump in, whether the good guys stopped it or the bad guys just something like this happened. Maybe, I don't know. Elections are still fraudulent. And as I've said many times, you've heard us say this many times, We've repeatedly been talking about this since the elections happened, and a lot of people did not like us saying those things. We had people quit Badlands because we were saying those things. Isn't that weird? Dr. Shiva is Q. There's a disturbance in the force, says Cujo. Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's just something about the story. It has given me the heebie-jeebies. Giving me the heebie-jeebies. And I don't know why. So we'll see. Maybe by tomorrow we'll have a couple more posts on it and we can update. But I, for some reason, just maybe broadly, some aspects of the story are true, but I feel like there's something here that isn't. And if you're going to put forth like a story like this of this magnitude with the implications that they want this story to have, you can't just be like, my proof is Venezuela's being invaded right now. Because guess what? The war hawks have been wanting to invade Venezuela and get rid of Maduro and put in a regime asset for decades. They would have done that whether they got away with the steal or not. Like, had Trump not even run for election, it was Ron DeSantis, like everything would be playing out exactly the same way with Venezuela and some of these other places. In terms of what is actually going on in these places, who knows? But to claim that as your proof, I don't think that's not up to snuff, in my opinion. If all this is accurate, why is election integrity or reform priority number one? It always is. It has to be. And Trump never stopped talking about election fraud. That's the thing. It's like, okay, well, Trump was just too stupid. What was that post? I don't want to misquote. Trump was upset with his own staff after Elon Musk verified the fraud was for real. He'd been gaslit for 4 years by his team to drop the topic. He never dropped the topic, though. That's the thing. He was like very actively and continuing to push how fake and fraudulent the 2020 election was. I don't know. I'm waiting to see more. I'll reserve my full judgment and decision of whether or not I will promote this as the Q promoter later. I'll save it for once the full thread is out. The thing is, we have no idea. It's been 24 hours. We've got how many posts? 18 posts in 24 hours. They come sporadically, sometimes every couple hours, whatever. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think? John, can you end all streams with where we go one, we go all? I'd have to think of a play on words with that. I don't know if I'd want it to quite say that. I want it to say something. I'll think about it. Carlson Cujo, call me when the shit hit the fan. Yes. Cloud Topper, John should be more trusting. Are you kidding me? You guys should be less trusting, especially of media figures and people online. I feel a lot better about Q, honestly, since John was declared king. I see what you did there. Love it. Only if you do your show from a boat. I'm doing it from my yacht right now. Okay, what else is there? Oh yeah, so Trump came out and said that he is launching the Genesis mission. This is the newest update, executive order. And again, when I first read that, I was like, "Oh, are we going to another planet?" But no, it is it's an executive order to basically unleash the new age of AI accelerated innovation and discovery that can solve most challenging problems in this century or of this century. We'll build an integrated AI platform to harness federal scientific data sets, the world's largest collection of such data sets developed over decades of federal investments to train scientific foundation models and create AI agents to test new hypotheses, automate research workflows, and accelerate scientific breakthroughs. Genesis mission will bring together our nation's research and development resources, combining blah, 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 blah. So again, AI at the centerfold, continues to be the centerfold. We're going to keep printing fiat dollars to win the AI race. Such a silly little situation we find ourselves in. Sellers are taking their homes off the market at the fastest pace in nearly a decade. Roughly 15% of homes were delisted in September. They're at risk of selling at a loss. So nobody wants to lose money on selling their home, but that's where the economy's at right now, guys, and that's a real thing. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times somebody tells you the economy's good. If you can't sell your home at a profit anymore because there's people who can't afford it, it's not doing as good as people want you to believe. And that's okay to say. Doesn't mean it's not going to get better. Doesn't mean it's not going where Trump says it's going to go. And it doesn't mean that some of these things aren't artificially induced to make it seem worse than it is. But it's still what you're experiencing. So still talk about it. Besson says there's a very good chance that Trump names a new Fed chair before Christmas. That'd be the best Christmas present for all of us, wouldn't it? We finally get to know who they've chosen. Trump has been a fierce critic of Powell, says he'd love to fire him. Get the central bank to start lowering rates, but we'll see what happens. Okay, we have an update on the peace deal, and that's what I want to get to next here. Okay. Kyiv agrees to core terms of Trump administration peace deal. A U.S. official has confirmed that Ukraine has agreed to the peace deal brokered by the Trump administration to halt the war with Russia, saying negotiators had reached a common understanding with only minor details left unresolved. So exciting, guys. We're almost there. We're almost across the finish line. Ukraine's national security advisor, Rustem Umerov, said Kyiv accepted the core terms of the proposal during talks in Abu Dhabi, where U.S., Ukrainian, and Russian representatives have been holding indirect negotiations. The White House stated Tuesday that while some issues remain unsolved or unresolved, they are not insurmountable and will need further negotiation. Umerov signaled that President Vladimir Zelensky could travel to Washington before the end of November to finalize the agreement, adding that negotiators had established a shared framework during weekend meetings with U.S. and European officials in Geneva. We look forward to reorganizing a visit. I can't read today, guys. I don't know if it's the snow. It's like freezing my brain. Just the thought of snow. Thought of shoveling. Not looking forward to that. What else? I don't mind driving in snow, especially with my Bronco. It's pretty solid. But I'm going to blame the snow for why I can't read words good. Anyway, we look forward to organizing a visit of Ukraine's president to the U.S. at the earliest suitable date in November to complete final steps and make a deal with President Trump. U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll was in Abu Dhabi on Tuesday for hours of meetings with Russian representatives, according to multiple U.S. officials and diplomatic sources who confirmed his presence in the UAE capital. Officials also referenced a companion document outlining U.S. security assurances, which Ukrainian Ambassador Olga Stefanishkina described as similar to NATO's Article 5 commitment. I want to know the details, though, of what they agreed to, especially the election one. I want to know if they're going to agree to holding a new election within 100 days. Let's see if the actual story doesn't really specify. Doesn't really say. Bryan official Jon Herold is actually JFK Jr., which is why John is rich. It's not because of Badlands. Yes, that is all 100% factual. That's why I'm the most, it's, when they call me Q adjacent, it's almost an insult because I'm much closer than adjacent. Clairecat367, John, with your millions, maybe you should consider wintering in the Caribbean like the Venezuelan whistleblowers. Well, in the lawsuit that was filed against me, it did claim that I would flee the country if I was ever in trouble, even though I don't have a passport. So maybe that's something I could consider. John owns Bismarck. Yeah, I do. It's not how it's spelled, though. If you spell like that again, babe, I'm going to sue you on behalf of Bismarck since I own it. So Krisky made his money, needs to go bye-bye. Yeah, I want to see the election story surrounding Ukraine's elections once it's all done. But yes, that you guys, that is what was in the lawsuit that was claimed, that I would flee the country if I was ever in legal trouble, even though I don't have a passport, and wouldn't move away from North Dakota because my kids are here and I have 50% custody. Isn't that crazy? John, do the other 4 people in Bismarck know you're JFK Jr.? Well, the other 4 people in Bismarck it's basically, Bismarck is WITSEC. So all the people that you thought have died over the years are, I make the joke that all people go to WITSEC, or all white hats go to WITSEC. I was trying to just throw you guys off the scent, but now I'm just going to come clean. And so, like, Epstein, he's still alive. He's here. Who else is there? Who's the guy? Oh, what's the guy? What's the guy's name? I can't remember. But anyway, you name it. You name the person that you thought died. Dick Cheney. He turned. He's gone into WITSEC. Anybody that you thought was dead is here in Bismarck with me. We're all here. And yes, I'm JFK Jr., remember. So they're all here. Amelia Earhart. You thought that D class was coming because they, want transparency. No, it's because she's here in WITSEC. She's turned. She's rolled on everybody. Coming clean. Fargo was real. Yep. Cece's here too. She's also in WITSEC. Wave the flag. Could someone explain why Badlands always freezes on me but never channels like Too Late, Tim Pool, or Bannon? That's a good question. It's a good question. Maybe because of snow. Snow's cold. I've heard that. John McAfee. That's who I was thinking of. Badlands me fan. You read my mind. That's who I was thinking of. He's here too. He lives in the basement. Chief Justice Scalia. He's here. They're all here. Everyone's here. And you can take my word for this because I am the Q promoter. Co-founded it. Yeah, co-founded it, Eric Q. Freeman. Michael Jackson, he's here. Jimmy Hoffa. Every single one of them. Every one of them. Nobody's actually died since like the 30s or the 20s. That's we've figured out how to defeat death. We found the fountain in youth. It's in Bismarck. And so nobody actually dies anymore. They just come to Bismarck and they're all alive. Every one of them. And yes, Spetzel, the better question is, why are you actually watching Tim Pool? That is a good question. I'm a little suspicious of you now. Vince Foster. Don't know who that is, but yep, he's here. All of them. It doesn't matter what name you're going to say. They're here in Bismarck. And that's why you also move here. If you want to meet your dead heroes, your dead in quotes, move to Bismarck. Let's look at this. Trump orders review for terror designations against Muslim Brotherhood chapters. I think this is interesting after the meeting with Mondami. The order requires a formal report produced with input from the Attorney General and the Director of National Intelligence, followed by a 45-day window for action if the chapters meet federal criteria. The White House said the goal is to cut off resources, operations, and capabilities that threaten U.S. nationals or American security. The administration cited intelligence linking Brotherhood branches to regional violence, including rocket attacks on Israeli civilian and military targets after October 7th, 2023. They're looking to determine if there are chapters in Lebanon, Egypt, and Jordan, whether they should be designated as foreign terrorist organizations. See what happens. The Department of War has launched a review of misconduct allegations against Senator Mark Kelly. Oh, did I talk about that yet? The thing I found? I don't think I did. So the video that came out, and it has to do with this story. The video that came out, the Sedition 6 or whatever. Here, let me read the story and then I'm all over the place right now. The Department of War announced it is reviewing serious allegations against retired Navy Captain and Senator Mark Kelly following his appearance in a video encouraging U.S. troops to disobey legal orders. And according with the Uniform Code of Military Justice and other applicable regulations, the department has initiated a full review. Anyway, so they're going to investigate and whatever. The date of that video was November 18th. I'm pretty sure that was the day that Slotkin put it on her Twitter. Slotkin, whatever her name is. I was going through it, and every now and then, like once every other week or so, I check the Department of Defense instructions to see if there's anything new or interesting that comes out. That's how not long ago I found that the regular warfare one had been published. I'll show you here. Regular warfare. That was an interesting one. That was back in end of September. Well, this is the one that I thought was interesting. DODI 8025.01, November 18th, same date as the video came out, and it's called DOD Internet Content Blocking. But if you click, you can't actually click into it because some of these you have to have like a specific login to see what it says. DOD Internet Content Block. This website is not authorized to post controlled documents. You need a PKI certificate to access it. And if you click on it, it takes you to this page. Now they probably are monitoring and watching my show, but I think it's interesting. Same date, the DoD is blocking some form of content for DoD personnel or DoD. I wonder if it has to do with the issuance of illegal orders. The thing that video that they put out. Like, do they no longer get access to Twitter? Are they not allowed to watch Badlands Media? Are we the problem? What is it? We don't know. But this is interesting. I think I was the first one to notice it, so that makes it more interesting. Jules 5777. If you start doing OnlyLands from 5 to 7 West Coast time, Monday through Friday, I will stop watching Tim Pool and watch Badlands. Please don't block me. We don't block people who are earnest. We only block trolls and people who post like the Mel Gibson's return from the dead or whatever. Are they trying to prevent a tainted jury? That's an interesting thought. But yeah, we will not be changing our showtimes. The showtimes are the way they are, especially like the reason I started doing my power way back in the day at 9:30 at night was 9:30 my time, Central Time, was because that's when I confidently had my kids to sleep. I'm less confident in that time frame, but I'm like, we built our entire show schedule on Badlands based off of that time period. Like 9:30 is the when all my shows were. So okay, we're gonna do a show before that, and how long we're gonna make it. This is the time slot, and we built everything out from there. So the 9:30 p.m. Central Time, 10:30 Eastern, whatever. That's kind of it's what we call our prime time slot. But it's because of that, and we're not going to be moving OnlyLens out of there. I don't think. We have other shows on. Mel Gibson is dead. LOL. No, he's in Witsec. But no, there's like some troll account that always comes in here, and it's some Mel Gibson thing. They try to get you to click. I don't know. New case. It's called Badlands because calling it Q-Lands would have been a little too on the nose. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Badlands. We are going to do a co-founder T-shirt though. Stay tuned for that. I can't wait. It'd be so funny. What else? Judge, here we go. Judge clears path for prosecutors to revive charges rejected by federal grand juries. I think this is interesting. Federal judge ruled Thursday that U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro may present charges rejected by federal grand juries to a D.C. Superior Court grand jury, relying on a rarely used D.C. code provision that lets either federal or local grand juries return indictments on federal crimes. Chief Judge James Boasberg said, the authority covers any criminal matter, including capital offenses, treason, racketeering, conspiracy, and sedition, examples he noted to illustrate the provision's reach. Boasberg upheld Pirro's decision to seek a superior court indictment against Cavante Stewart after a federal grand jury declined to charge him with being a felon in possession of a firearm. The weird thing is, it's Boasberg doing it. Like, Pirro's in the administration. She's the one who like requested this, and Boasberg granted it. And Boasberg is not Trump friendly. Lee Walden. John, were you aware that Captain Kelly has a twin and they both served Navy and served as astronauts? Pretty FUK, a great legacy ruined. Well, just because like they were astronauts and served, like that doesn't automatically give them a great legacy, in my opinion. Like, I'm not trying to dog on people who do that. Like, there are people who serve our country and they deserve thanks for their service, and many of them have a great legacy. But by default, doing it, like serving, I don't think that gives you automatic like claim to great legacy. I think part of it depends on what you do with it and then what you do afterwards in service of it. That's just my thoughts. Oh, ghosts here. What did ghosts say? Mel Gibson just flew over my house. Funny. He's got a new movie coming out. I know that. Let me find it. Mel Gibson hunt. It's like a hunting season. That's what it's called. We could watch a trailer, but I'd have to do it at the end so that YouTube doesn't give me strikes and stuff. What else? That might be. Oh, here we go. From Johnson, Speaker Johnson. He's not talking about his package. He's talking about Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. And this is such a weird thing for people to say. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it, but we'll talk about it. Johnson, Carlson interview with Fuentes was a big mistake. The House Speaker said people should not amplify Fuentes' views. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Tucker Carlson's decision to interview white supremacist Nick Fuentes on his podcast last month was a big mistake. He has a lot of listeners, and I think giving Nick Fuentes that platform is a big mistake, the Louisiana Republican told The Hill in an interview published Tuesday. Johnson said that he had not listened to Fuentes before, but that he sort of knew who the far-right provocateur is. After listening to a compilation of some of the worst things Fuentes has said, Johnson called it vile, terrible stuff. I mean, it's not just anti-Semitic. It's openly racist. It's violent. Things you can't even repeat on the House floor, Johnson said. We should not be giving a platform to amplify those views, and I think that's important for us to say. And I just want to say, fuck you. Our government officials should not be in control or dictating the platforms of People's America Free Speech. And I don't even like Nick Fuentes, okay? I don't give a shit. But these politicians, and when they start talking about whether or not people should be platformed, it's not up to you guys. It is up to the people to, like, if they watch something and they want to believe it, it's up to them to use their own discernment. And I know that's a scary prospect because we have so many retards in the world. I get it. But it doesn't matter. If somebody wants to interview somebody, they should be allowed to do it without elected. And I know that oxymoron, elected officials, none of these people are elected. They're illegitimate. But that's even more concerning is these people that are, controlling office who are not legitimately elected. They're illegitimate, and they're the ones calling for deplatforming of people. Like, we should not be giving a platform to amplify views of people. If you think post-Trump world, and even current Trump world right now, we do not have free speech. I bitch about this all the time. My swear jar meter is going off the charts. But I complain all the time how we don't have free speech. There is no level playing field. The algorithms do not help any of us. They promote a people like a Nick Fuentes. All this anti-Fuentes rhetoric anyway is only making them more popular. So this is like some form of op here. But just the basis of what he's saying here, a post-Trump world, the free speech is only going to be worse for us if things don't go the way they need to and should go, with Trump fixing a lot of problems here and us helping him fix a lot of problems, us making sure he fixes a lot of problems. But this is stupid. Like, if somebody wants to interview somebody, go for it. It should be up to Tucker to decide who he wants to interview. If you don't like it, that's fine. But discussing like whether or not people should be platformed at all, that's where it's concerning to me. Why don't you just worry about having the vote that you promised you're going to have on removing that provision from the Senate bill to reopen the government that you never held? That weirdly nobody's asking about or talking about anymore. That one where the 8 senators snuck in the bill at the last minute, 4 days before the House voted on it. The little provision where they could sue the government on a backdated basis or whatever. Each one of them is going to make a bunch of money. They only did it for themselves. They didn't do it for anybody else that was spied upon illegally by the Biden DOJ. When are you going to hold that vote? We're just going to move on and talk about how we shouldn't platform somebody because they say mean things. Although I am looking forward to someday, as the world's largest, foremost Q adjacent promoter, when they discover Badlands and Badlands gets, on Tucker or somebody, and they start going through and we get an interview and Johnson is like, Tucker Carlson should not be promoting Badlands or Q promoters because they are openly racist and did blackface on OnlyLands last week and stuff like that. That'll be fun. And I'll still have the same comments. Go, dog, go. There's no such thing as post-Trump world. Well, I mean, technically Trump. Well, that's true because we have the founding youth in Bismarck, North Dakota. And when he's not actually going to die, he's just going to come to Witsack. Real sneaky Pete. Don't worry, John. You have to be really smart to understand Q. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's necessarily true based on many of the what people would call the prominent voices of it. It would be awesome to see John and the Badlands crew on Sean Ryan. His head would explode. Hey, we had General Quast on Sean Ryan. He's our handler. You know, does that count? Snickers sponsorship for Daily Herald. Badlands needs a lawyer to discuss the legal things going on. I've got a few I could probably reach out to. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna sign off here. I think Ghost is on next. I could be wrong, but let me double check that. Geopolitics with Ghost. I was right. Here, starting in 3 minutes. So let's do this. I'm gonna see if I have any rants. I don't know where to put them. Okay, we got a few. Keith O'Higgins, Johnny always can be called worse by better people. You could be called accusing. Oh, I did read that one, but thank you. PJ Corn, feels great waking up today knowing I bookended John's fantasy football season with L's, making the playoffs in the process. One step closer to that free merch. I need a Badlands co-founder sweatshirt. Yeah, you did beat me. It's a little disappointing. I did not do well in that league. The other league, I'm not doing great, but I did beat CanCon. So that was good news. I should probably check my scores there. I wonder if I made the playoffs there. Or is my season over? I'm 6-6. Where am I at in the league? Did I make the playoffs? Oh, I'm in the playoffs right now. I'm projected 5th seed. That is some great news. Playoffs begin in also next week. So who am I playing this week then? Oh, I play Alpha too. Ooh, this is a big game. Big game. All right. Anyway, sorry to bore you guys. Call sign Cujo, happy Turkey Week. God bless. Stay positive. Thank you. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. I'm going to play our soft disclosure ad. Get yourself some soft disclosure for the holidays. Some great stuff. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Daily Herald, the #1 Q content show on the interwebs. That is what, and you can now, according to the New York Times, you can now call me that. Where the heck is my soft disclosure ad? There we go. Okay, see everybody.
Before skincare went synthetic, people used something simple, something real, tallow. Grass-fed and finished beef tallow is packed with vitamins A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your skin actually knows what to do with. It locks in moisture, restores elasticity, and defends against winter dryness. No water, no preservatives, and no BS. Unlike plant oils or chemical creams, tallow mimics your skin's own structure. Elbows, hands, knees, post-shave, anywhere your skin's crying for real moisture. Perfect for gifting or keeping your own skin soft when the cold hits. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off. Ancient Care, modern truth.
Soft disclosure.
0. Extra, extra, read all about it. 2. 3. Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.